The conclave had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 cycles. 17 species bowed before their might, their civilizations integrated into the great machine of imperial order. War had been eliminated. Chaos had been tamed. The universe bent to logic, to efficiency, to control. Then humanity arrived. Ambassador Kreltok stood before the human delegation, his four eyes narrowing with barely concealed disdain. The creatures before him were pathetic, bipedal, soft-skinned, with only 2 eyes and laughable physical capabilities. Their world was a backwater, their technology primitive, yet they had refused the conclave's invitation to submit. "You misunderstand the situation," Kreltok's voice resonated through his translator. "This is not a negotiation. The conclave does not negotiate. You will integrate, or you will be pacified." The human representative, an older woman named Dr. Sarah Chen, smiled softly. "We've heard those words before, Ambassador. Throughout our history, from emperors, from dictators, from those who believed themselves inevitable." She leaned forward. "They all learned the same lesson eventually." Kreltok's mandibles clicked in what passed for conclave laughter. "You speak of your primitive tribal conflicts. We are not your petty warlords. We are the galaxy itself, unified and absolute." 3 cycles later, the first conclave pacification fleet arrived at Earth. What followed should have been routine: orbital bombardment of military installations, deployment of compliance forces, installation of a governing council. The process had been refined over millennia, perfected on 17 worlds. But Earth didn't break. The humans fought with everything they had: missiles and railguns, nuclear weapons and biological agents, tactics that violated every law of civilized warfare. When their cities burned, they fought from the rubble. When their governments fell, local leaders emerged. When their weapons ran out, they fashioned new ones from the wreckage. Admiral Vexnar watched the tactical displays with growing unease. His fleet had suffered more casualties in 6 months than the entire previous century of conclave operations. "These humans didn't surrender. They didn't despair. They adapted. They're using our own downed ships against us," his tactical officer reported. "They've reverse-engineered plasma weapons and integrated them into their defense networks. And, sir, they're smiling when they fight. Our ground forces report that human soldiers laugh in combat." Vexnar had conquered 4 worlds in his career. None had laughed. The siege of Earth lasted 4 years. The conclave committed 3 full fleets, 1 billion soldiers and weapons that could crack continents. They reduced Earth's population by half. They destroyed every major city. They poisoned the oceans and blackened the skies. And still the humans fought. In the ruins of what had once been called Moscow, Commander Zhao led 15 soldiers against a conclave fortress. They had no food, no reinforcements, no hope of survival. Yet they sang as they charged, ancient battle hymns from a dozen different cultures united in defiance. They took the fortress. In the flooded remains of New York, Dr. Amelia Rodriguez worked in a basement laboratory by candlelight, developing a virus that would target conclave biological systems. She hadn't slept in 3 days. Her daughter had died in the first bombardment. She worked faster. In the Australian outback, a teenage boy named Marcus taught his younger siblings how to build radio jammers from salvaged electronics. His hands were scarred from radiation exposure. His eyes held the weight of watching his parents die. He still told jokes to make his siblings laugh. This was what the conclave couldn't understand. Humans didn't break because breaking required believing that suffering could defeat meaning, and humans inexplicably, impossibly created meaning from suffering itself. The turning point came on the 4th anniversary of the invasion. Every remaining human on Earth, millions of scattered survivors, simultaneously broadcast a single message across every frequency. Not a surrender, not a plea for mercy, a declaration of war against the entire conclave. The message contained coordinates, battle plans, and intelligence on conclave operations across the galaxy. Information gathered by captured human soldiers who had endured torture chambers, prisoners who had feigned submission while memorizing fleet positions, civilians who had died transmitting vital data. And then the message revealed something that sent terror rippling through the conclave for the first time in 12,000 cycles. During the 4-year siege, human ships had escaped Earth, hundreds of them, carrying thousands of refugees dispersing across the galaxy. The humans weren't trying to survive on their homeworld. They were metastasizing, within a cycle, Human resistance cells appeared on 6 conclave worlds. Integrated species, long pacified and compliant, suddenly remembered what rebellion looked like. Humans taught them. Humans showed them that the conclave could bleed. On Krelltalk's homeworld, a human saboteur detonated a fusion device in the central governance spire. Her name was Lieutenant Sarah Okoro. Before she died, she transmitted 4 words: for Earth, for tomorrow. Those words became a virus more deadly than any weapon. Subjugated species whispered them in the dark. Slave workers carved them into walls. Children born under conclave rule learned them as lullabies. The rebellion spread. The conclave, which had never known defeat, found itself fighting wars on 20 fronts. Human tactics, guerrilla warfare, psychological operations, asymmetric engagement, spread like wildfire. Species that had submitted peacefully 200 cycles ago suddenly discovered their own capacity for defiance. Vexnar received orders to return to Earth for a final extermination campaign. He stood on his flagship's bridge, staring at the scarred blue world below. And for the first time in his 3-century career, he felt doubt. They didn't win, his tactical officer said quietly. Earth is destroyed. Their species is scattered. They've lost everything. Vexnar's eyes remained fixed on the planet. Across its surface, amid the ruins and the radiation, lights were appearing. Humans rebuilding, humans planting crops in poisoned soil, humans teaching children in makeshift schools. No, Vexnar said softly. We're the ones who lost. We tried to break them and they broke the galaxy instead. He turned to his crew. Prepare to withdraw? All fleets. All worlds, sir? The conclave is finished. We just don't know it yet. He was right. Within 10 cycles, the conclave collapsed. Not from military defeat, but from the idea humans had introduced. That suffering could not extinguish hope. That power could not defeat purpose. That no empire, however ancient, was inevitable. Humanity never ruled the galaxy. They didn't need to. They had given it something far more dangerous than conquest. They had given it the human spirit, unkillable, unbreakable, and infinitely contagious. And the universe would never be the same.